You may be asking yourself, well, why do I need to prepare to be homeless in the next 30 days? Or I'm preparing to be homeless in the next 30 days. What do I do? Please help me. So you're either watching this video a couple of weeks from now, or you were smart enough to watch this video up front and in the beginning. So let's talk about some current events that are going to directly affect your job, whether it be you own a business or whether you're an employee or a subcontractor. Even if you're like me and you're here in the digital economy, this is going to affect everybody because everything relies on shipping. Okay, and with the dock worker strike, that is a death knell to the American economy. That is going to bring the American economy down to its knees. That is worse than the rail worker strike. And the rail workers, work domestically, but because we ship. Okay, so the corn's grown here, shipped to China to be husked and to be processed, and then shipped to another country to be done this and done that, and then shipped back here. And so now each of these governments get the tariffs from the imports and from the shipping. And so instead of keeping the food local, they're keeping it all goes overseas and it all relies on shipping. Okay, so even though you're getting corn that's grown in Nebraska, it went to China and Bangladesh before it ever made its way here. Okay, and so that is going to affect the food supply. That is going to affect goods that are shipped. Whether you're a service and you need like when I owned a janitorial business, you had to get your chemicals, and your chemicals are imported. They come in, they get shipped, and so on and so forth. And we are a just-in-time shipping society. That way, we're not overstocking and overpaying, and then that way you can be more efficient and maximize everything. But that is going to be completely disrupted, even worse than what we saw during the 2020 shutdowns. Okay, so if you are a business that has any tie to that, so I have affiliate links, that's going to affect me. There are advertisers that will not be able to ship you the product, or that will have to raise prices through the roofs that advertise on my videos, and so they may not be advertising as much because they don't have the product, and so therefore they're going to have to downsize, and everybody's going to be forced to completely downsize and even automate where they can. Because one of the biggest problems I was facing with my janitorial business right before I had to shut it down is that they were trying to offer me ways to automate it because the money just wasn't there for the businesses. The profit margin wasn't there. Employees are asking for too much money, and so therefore instead of paying somebody 15 or 20 bucks an hour to push a broom, you go out and spend $60,000 on an auto scrubber and $5,000 a year on a subscription, and then that can do the work of 4 people, and now you get to save money. It takes a couple of years to be able to make your money and stuff like that, but as a business, you're being forced to do that just to be able to keep your head above water because of how wages are going up, but the people can't afford it. And so it's like there's confusion in the system, and nothing's budging. And employers can't afford the higher wages, but the products are still costing more, and so the employer has to take the hit, and he can't actually get proper help for that very reason. Okay, so you have all of this that is going to go through the roof as far as like how the employers and how the employees are going to be treated. So you're gonna be affected. You may have 30 days to become homeless. Okay, and this is what's really going to affect you moving forward, whether it gets fixed in the next couple of weeks or it gets fixed 6 months from now. This is going to affect you for years into the future. This again is a death knell to the American economy. So before I came out here, before I became homeless and then evolved into the nomadic life, we talked about it on one of my morning talks that I do in my live stream. We'll talk about it again in a different video. But the thing is to be able to get into this lifestyle, I had to make a plan. Okay, I had to figure out, how do I make my money, because I need to eat. For me, I like my cigarettes. If I'm going to be static in a city, I like to have my weed. And, it's nice to have, but it's not a necessity. But cigarettes are, food is, water is, making sure that I have proper gear is important. So, but how are you going to afford the constant replacement of the gear? So you need to have some sort of plan in which you are going to hustle up and make money. Some of it may be subcontracting, some of it may be sharing your knowledge and skills and consulting and helping. Because I mean, I've gone to businesses even in my travels and I'm like, look, I owned a business, I see where you're failing here, this is where, you know, because I tell them my story and how successful we really were. I mean, I had so much work, I had to turn it down at all times. That was the great thing, but my problem is that I couldn't find enough employees. Okay, and that when you're employee centered, it's going to be very, very hard. This is why I've been talking about the economy the economy of the future is going to be self-employed, subcontractors, and freelancers. The brick and mortar employee is going to go away. That is going to be the equivalent of being a doctor, because you'll have to know all this stuff to be able to run the automation of whatever system that you're running, because it's all robotics. You either have to be able to maintain it, design it, or build it. Okay, and so this is the biggest part of what you're going to have to plan for if you want to become part of if you want to be able to survive what is coming, because you may not have very much time to prepare, and your business owner ain't going to give you very long. You've got maybe 1 month's of rent, and then you're probably going to walk out. You need to be able to sell what you can, save your money, buy some basic gear. Okay, buy stuff that is easily replaceable, that you can get to quickly. So Walmart and Amazon, until they go away, are going to be some of the better places that you can go. Like, get your tents, get your sleeping pads, get your pillows, get your cooking gear, get your cooking fuel. They're not going to do good on packs and stuff like that unless you're in certain areas, because that's the one thing that they ship to you. But making sure that you have a plan that is going to make you money so that you can afford to eat, so that you can afford to replace the gear. But you need to come out with some money, because it's going to take a minute to be able to find your foundation. And I'm going to tell you a little thing that affects everybody that comes out, so that you can be prepared for it as well. Consider this a bonus. When I first came out, just because I'd been used to being housed for 7, 8, 9 years, I got used to being housed, and it was a hard transition back into homelessness again. Okay, this is like my 10th or 15th time being homeless. But that was my longest stint off. I never thought I would be homeless again, and so therefore I changed my mindset. And when I came out, instead of saving my money and just kind of dealing with the suck and just going and paying for a shower, $10 for a shower, I was paying $100 for a hotel room. And you end up wasting your money on a lot of stupid stuff. You've got to be able to have the self-discipline and the self-awareness that you've got to stretch this out. So sometimes when you want to go do something, even though you really, 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 really want to do it, unless you've got the income to be able to support it, and you know that you can offset that, I would strongly suggest that you don't spend your money on hotel rooms or anything extravagant meals or anything else like that. When you start making money, and you start having a regular income, something like that can be, once or twice a month, a couple times a month. Sam and I go and eat at somewhere nice, whether it be a fast food restaurant or now that I'm here in Gainesville, I love to go to Sonny's. Okay, so if you want to buy me a meal at Sonny's, tip jars down below. But anyways, these are the main things that you need to consider. Is you need to create a plan, you need to sell what you can, save what you can, okay, and get the gear that you need. But that plan is going to dictate number 2 and number 3. Okay, don't try and throw good money after bad. Don't try and keep yourself in a place, especially if crap's gonna really hit the fan, because at this point in time, everybody thinks, oh well, this is just a blip, everything will go back to normal. Well, it's not going back to normal. Hasn't gone back to normal for almost 5 years now. Ever since the shutdowns, this is the craziness that we've been dealing with. So if you're going to heed my warning, I would strongly suggest that you'll be in a lot better position, and you'll be a lot more comfortable, kind of like how I am. Now, I mean, again, it's going to affect me in one way or another, just like it's going to affect you. But I have created my foundation enough to where I don't really have to worry too much, because it's advertisers that have to worry. And, again, my ad revenue may go down, but there's other ways I make money doing what I do. So you guys know how to help the channel. Everything's down in the description, memberships, all that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.